I don't like that. Let's start again.
The light one.
I'm Maya Gomez, and this is The Insecure Musician.
Goodbye, my friend, miss you. You don't look so good again. No.
Hi, I'm Maya Gomez, and welcome to another episode of The Insecure Musician. Today we talked with Krista Shipperbottom about her band LUTHARO and her experience as a musician, her experiences with insecurity and how she pushes through it, but also some of the things that sometimes limit her. We laughed, we got serious, we made some mistakes, so I hope that you enjoy, and here it is.
Here we are. Perfect.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that any questions that I ask that are just you're not comfortable with, just say skip and we'll move on. Cool?
Okay.
Sweet. I also want to start this off by saying I'm not a therapist. I have no training. And this is just strictly a musician trying to get some support from other musicians and help other people that may be curious or lacking confidence. Cool?
Sounds good to me.
Sweet. Okay, so first thing, we'll do a super broad question. Have you ever felt not good enough to be in music?
Yeah. Pretty much you kind of go through that all the time as a musician. You kind of go with this. So days you think I'm the best and I'm this is working and everything's going my way, and then you just go and then you fall down a hole for forever of I suck, this is never gonna happen for me, why do I even try? And then you go again, it's this vicious cycle of loving and hating yourself, and I don't know, it sucks, man. I don't know how else to say it. I don't think you'll ever feel 100% I am the best musician out there, and you'll never feel I'm doing the right thing. You never kind of have that security. There's always a what if in music. Yeah, it's just the battle we have to go through. Pretty much.
Do you find, you said that there's the highs and the lows. Do you find specific things give you certain feelings of that high point where it's okay, I'm worthy of doing this. It's good. Some people find that in live shows, or some people find it in record. What's your thing?
Definitely live shows, or even this, if you're practicing and then you hit a note that you've never hit before, or your stamina is amazing that day, you feel you can sing anything or scream anything or do anything, that's when you feel yes, I'm in the right place. Or when you're writing, I had this happen to me the other day. We've been writing a new song and I just couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do for the verse, and then all of a sudden it came to me and I got those chills, and that was that reassuring, okay, this is the right thing, you kind of it's a static, I don't know, in the moment kind of thing where you just get a sign, and everyone has their own sign of yes, this is right.
For sure, 100%. I know that one. Do you feel working on your skill outside of emotion, trying your best to separate those two when you're strictly working on skill? So hitting a new note, or being able to breathe better, or do you find that helps you to be able to get over some of the emotional blockage that can happen with anxiety and everything? Or do you find that sometimes that also can hinder?
Depends on the day, honestly, because even having the best singing day of your life, sometimes you can't get yourself out of that funk. I personally go through periods of time where just nothing uplifts me. Even doing the things I love are not uplifting me. And that just goes hand in hand with anxiety and depression, whatever else. You just get in this, nothing can fix it. But then sometimes I guess the miracle times will bring you right out again. But it's I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just like it hits you for no reason, almost, you know what I mean? And then like it's just, yeah, you're trying to climb out and you can't, and you're just burying yourself. Sometimes, yeah, you get that good practice and it brings you out of it for a while, but then sometimes it just can't. I don't know. And then sometimes that you're able to write your best music like that too, though. But you can't live your life like that, you know?
It's like, it's always the songs where I like feel like I'm the worst that seem to connect with audiences better. It's like this, it's like this strange one. And that's kind of why I'm doing this, because I was like, what is that thing that like connects musicians, and no matter where you are, and like all of a sudden, and does that make your art better, you know? And or does it not also? Like, I'm just super curious about it.
I don't know. Like, music's supposed to make you feel something, right? So like when you felt something the deepest, that's when you want to write something, you know, because then that person will feel that emotion in the deepest way. You know, you don't want to be like, it's almost like fake if you're writing something that's not coming from that rock bottom almost, you know what I mean? You have to be feeling that emotion in that moment in order to write something like that, to connect fully to that, to write lyrics like that, a melody like that. Like when we were in the studio doing Wings of Agony, the first like those notes, I made the guys record it over and over again, and not because it sounded like crap. They're like, what the heck, like this sounds good, why are you making us do this? I'm like, no, this scream needs to sound the way I want it to sound. Like, it needs to like connect to that audience of like, she's in pain.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And you've said in interviews, you've gotten a lot of press about this, and that must feel kind of like a mixed bag of emotions anyway. Yeah. For somebody like, you've expressed to me outside of this some like, you know, insecurities about, you know, pushing music and everything that way. But that must just feel like a mixed bag either way, right? Like, it's like, this is really exciting, but I'm also scared I might say the wrong thing. And like,
especially because you want to be professional about things, but you also want to like not be phony about things, you know what I mean? You want to say them like it is, because you want people to connect with that, you know? Like, for me, like if Angela Gasso was like telling me I felt like crap for the first 5 years of me doing music, and I can tell you that it's going to pay off. You will get to where like I've gotten, or further, if you just stick with it. But I mean, there's a lot of people that don't say this, you know, they act larger than life, and like they're these huge famous people that everyone looks up to, but you don't see them when they're in their darkest, crappiest moments. Their voice isn't working, they're in a depression, they're like going through like an illness. Like, it's just, you don't see it, you know, and this is so important to talk about, you know. And like, there's people that see that. Like, I'm so glad you're doing this, because like, it is like, some people understand this topic and they want to hear about this topic, and some people are looking at it like, oh, stop being like a bitch about it, you know what I mean? Like, they just want to see you like kicking butt, you know. But
and like also acknowledging the fact that like we're not 100% all the time, and that's what makes us so powerful when we're on stage or when we're recording or whatever. Like, I think it's useful for people that like look up to these icons essentially, and like go, well, I'll never be that, and so they stop themselves from creating art. And it's like that is like the biggest barrier that I've found, like trying to make music. I'm like, I look at all these people and like, they had to fail so much, but also like they weren't streaming all their fails. They weren't like there weren't audiences. You could fail and you could still be awesome. And I think that a lot of the biggest failings may also be some of the best things in history too. So I think it's just super important that like we kind of demystify it while still like giving people the acknowledgement that they deserve, because they've messed up a lot. I mean, messed up a lot. Have to believe that.
Oh god, yeah, I'm trying to like be sensitive and like censor myself a little bit here. I'm like thinking like don't say a bad word. Like these insecurities as a weakness when really it's like it's not being weak if you're being insecure. It's just like you have so much strength. You just don't know how to use it to your advantage sometimes. It's like your brain is so powerful, you know, like, and you have so much power within you. It's like, but you're choosing, like, when you get in these funks to use that power to like a negative, like thing, you know what I mean? It's like, it's crappy, but like people see that insecure as weak when it's not. Like, it's just like, you just don't use that like power in that way yet. You don't know how to like harness it.
But do you find that like from the first time you went into the studio to release something versus now, do you find that you have more confidence going in, and do you find that you have more ownership of your insecurities going in too?
100%.
Right?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
the Beast album, I was really afraid to kind of let loose and like hit a wrong note or like experiment a little bit. The guys would be like, try this, and I would kind of be like shutting myself off because I'd be like, no, I can't do that, like that's uncomfortable, when really it's like, yeah, I could. And when they finally coaxed me into it, I could, and I could do it with no issue. But it was like my brain going, no, you can't, that's weird, you're not gonna hit the right note, it's gonna sound like crap, you know what I mean? But like with Wings, I just went for it. Like we had such a long period of time in between that I was just like, screw this, man. Like we've been like holding on to this album for so long, and I'm gonna give it like the attention that it deserves and like the rawness that it deserves, because like I'm not gonna hold it back anymore. You know, like why? Just so that my like, bandmates who hear me like screw up all the time, hear me screw up 1,000 times in the studio, like no.
Because there's a different pressure that comes from like a studio versus a live setting, at least from my experience. I'm like, I can get up and play a show and it's still semi awkward and filled with, you know, other feelings. But like playing a show for me is like a release. It's like, oh, all the stuff I've been working on and all this stuff, it's like, it doesn't really matter because it's on a stage and like it's in the moment and all those things.
Yes.
But being in a studio, all of a sudden I get like clammy because it's everybody looking at you, and they do the take and then they go and you're like, next, I guess, like
again.
Yeah. And you're just trying to search for that like emotion. And so it's cool that you like kind of touched on that a little bit before, where it's like, you know, you just want to get it so right as a vocalist, especially because it's coming from you. You want that emotion to be like right hand in hand.
100%. Like when you're on stage, it's raw, it's in the moment, it's, well, whatever happens, happens. I'm up here, and if I screw up, that's life. You know what I mean? But like when you're in the studio, you're under a microscope, and trying to tap into that emotion when you're under a microscope or under pressure is hard, because you're just like I don't want to mess up. Oh my god, I have to do this justice. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's crap. And you're also under a time crunch too, right? Where like if you're paying for studio time, or like you just don't have enough time in the day, then you're like, okay, this has to be done right the first time or the first couple of times. You know, you can't like have that I don't know, freeness that the stage gives you.
How long was the process before you ever, let's say, play a live show?
Man, I think it was like a year that we had been practicing a bunch of stuff, and at the time, like, we thought it was amazing, and it's complete crap compared to like what we're doing now. And I'm sure like we'll look back at this stuff and be like, wow, that's crap. It's not really crap, but it's just like, it's all trial and error, right? But it took us like, I think at least a year to get enough songs and like even covers too to actually play a live show. Our first show was at the Absinthe, which was amazing because like most people start at the Doors, and so we got lucky for that first show that there's actual like proper equipment and everything on stage, you know, and we were all crapping our pants, and
when you were starting, what was your entry into the project? Were you one of the heads of it? Like, I want to start a band, let's get everybody together? Or were you asked to join something that maybe already kind of was pre-existing? And how did you feel confidence-wise, like, about your role and about being a vocalist, and if you were ready and all those fearful things?
Victor had started LUTHARO in high school. Well, it was Incarnadine at the time, with our friend Mike and our other friend Zach. But they weren't really like doing much. They were kind of like, just like, yeah, we're starting a band, like, you know, and it wasn't serious or anything. It was just like, I don't know, for fun. They were looking for a female vocalist. So they were originally going to ask one of my friends, who I guess they were like closer with at the time. But then I did, like, they were always hanging out around like the musical theater stuff. They were helping out with all that stuff. And I did a mic check, and they were like, what the heck? Who is this girl? All of a sudden. And then like, it turned out that we had so much in common. We were listening to all the same music and stuff. So they were like, okay, we're going to ask this chick. Yeah. And then it got serious, honestly, once I started in there, because they were like, okay, we have a vocalist, we have bass, drums, guitars, we're good. But I was very nervous about it. Like, I had never sang in anything besides like a choir or like stupid little shows for like my parents or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was like,
yeah,
nothing. Or like even like just singing lessons I took, and we would do like one-off show for like parents and like friends or whatever, right? It was never anything crazy like this. And even before then, like, I was in like a cover band, but it was kind of like wishy-washy. Like, they weren't sure if they wanted a female vocalist, because they're like, ooh, not really sure if that's like our image and blah blah blah. And I was kind of like, well, screw you, I'll go find something somewhere else. And I did, because like, being a female is also another thing where people, like, you're constantly put in, like, I feel like a higher microscope than other people for some stupid reason. You know, it's like we shouldn't have to feel like we have to prove ourselves more, but people act like we have to prove ourselves more than male. You know what I mean? Like, if we do something wrong, it's way worse than if a dude does something wrong, you know? Like,
yeah, 100%.
So I, from the beginning, had that target on my back too. I was like, I don't want to mess up, because I don't want these guys to think I'm crappy and I want to be in a band so bad, you know? So I had this like, you know,
yeah, especially in metal and harder, heavier music. It's a thing. It's for sure a thing. Yeah.
For sure. Like, when we first started, like, I felt like I needed to be like singing heavier, like rougher than what I needed to be. Like, I was trying to sing lower for some reason than what my actual range is, because I was like, I wanted to sound like more dude-like in a way, which is so stupid, but I didn't want them to be like, this chick's not like hard enough. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Like, it was never ever easy. It's still not easy, you know, with this constant battle.
What are some things that make you more confident? Is it
me pursuing what I love to do? Is like building my confidence enough. Like, this Melissa Cross definitely helped me, because that was reassuring, and other vocal instructors. But the confidence, like, you can't rely on other people for confidence. You can't be like, oh, like, I got this many views on my video or this many likes on my picture to gain confidence. Like, it's fake, and it's not going to last you long. It may last you a few seconds. You're like, yeah, but like, it has to come from within you, and knowing that you're doing something true to yourself and that you love. Because otherwise, like, it's just, I don't know, it's a ticking time bomb. You're not going to get anywhere. It's fake confidence at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's to like rewire your brain to be entirely you. Otherwise, you just feel like crap. You know, like, pretty much, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like, you have to, the only way you can gain confidence is by being authentically yourself and doing exactly what you love.
Nice. That's such a nice message. All right. Well, I guess we're done now. Oh, Jesus. All right. Wow, that was really great. What was one time that made you think, like specifically, maybe a really harsh performance or something that like was like, maybe I'm not cut out for this and maybe I should stop?
Honestly, I get this feeling all the time, which sounds really crappy, but I get this feeling constantly. Especially because I've had so many problems with my voice lately, because of nose problems. Like I've had like a post-nasal drip for like over a year now that we can't diagnose, and it's been like messing up my singing voice, my growls. It's not so much like my vocal cords are like bad or like they're not in any damage. It's just because of the post-nasal drip, there's so much mucus sitting on them and sitting on my false cords that I need to growl that it's making it so difficult for me to produce the sound. It's been such a trial and error. Like some days my vocals are amazing and some days, or even for weeks, they're just not working. And it scares the hell out of me because I'm like, what if I go into a performance like this and it's that one day that I feel like crap and I can't growl. You know what I mean? That's terrifying. And that's where I think like I don't want to let my bandmates down. Like maybe I should just like call it quits if like this is how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? If it's not gonna get fixed. But then on another hand, it's just like, no, I am going to keep doing this until I can't. I'm gonna keep pushing until I can't anymore, until I can't physically talk. I can't move if I'm on my deathbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's absolutely terrifying. Like I've gone through so much crap in the last couple of years with my vocals that is not even my like fault. Out of my control, which is even worse. It's like my body just decides like, nope, don't want to, like today, you know, and I'm just like, and that's part of the reason why I need fitness too, because if I don't have proper breath support and all this stuff, then me trying to produce a sound with this nasal stuff going on, not gonna happen. I'm just gonna pass out because I'm pushing so much air, and I have almost passed out multiple times. Like my eyes start going black at practice, and I'm like, just gonna kneel down for a second. It's yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that gets me in that mindset of maybe I just can't do this anymore, you know. But then it's
Yeah.
like, no. Keep going.
Well, because you kind of have a brand that you are pushing and music that you have fans that love. Very good, by the way. Everybody should listen to it. Very catchy and just so much emotion. When that ball starts turning, when you're like, oh, maybe I can't do this anymore, due to those things, I would find that because there are other people involved, it's not as easy to just be like, I'm not going to do it. You know, it's like I'm just not going to. And I think that's more what I'm getting at with the band. Like, do you find that in those times when you're like, man, I can't do it, like that it can push you to like want to continue in a band dynamic? I'm not saying that like that's the only reason why we push forward, but I think having people, I'm like, but having people that are also pushing for the same goals, I think keeps you on track.
Yeah, sure. You got people depending on you, and they want this dream as much as you do. When you're already starting to build an image for yourself, it's like, well, we're starting to gain this momentum. Why would I stop now and let all my guys down? Especially when it's like these members are hard to replace, especially members with good chemistry. You know, we've seen it. We've had to go through how many drummers and guitar players, bass players. You just don't want to be that person that holds everyone back. You know, you don't. I push myself beyond belief.
But you're doing a great job. You are a fantastic musician, and I can only see good things coming for your music and you as a person. So maybe we'll do this again a little bit later in the future, and just see maybe where you're at. Maybe have some different questions. See if anybody else wants to ask any questions to you at some point. So but thank you for doing this, and thanks for trying this out.
Yeah, like this is amazing because like I don't get asked these questions ever. You know what I mean? I get like all the normal like, what's the album about? like, where are you guys going to tour? You know what I mean? Like, you get the surface questions, and it's so good to like dig deep, and people who are maybe afraid to ask questions to other people, they can look at this and be like, okay, whew, I'm not the only one, you know, like
You're not the only person in the world that, like, you know, struggles with like skill, creativity, and like passion. Like those things, they play hand in hand, but they're also very different. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for how hard it can be to work through every single one of them.
100%.
So, yeah. All right. Thank you. And I'm going to stop recording now.
All right. Thank you.